Well, welcome everybody. Sound check 1, 2, 3. I hope you're all right. Due to the volume of sales within the past 2 hours after the last YouTube video I did with regards to negative energy and what's happening, and so many people not being able to sleep, not being able to just to rest through the night. This is becoming an epidemic, and I don't think people understand truly. I don't think none of us really truly understand what's going on. There is something that you could possibly ponder on as something that may seem crazy or may seem viable, and that is the sky. When you look at the sky, you can normally see normal clouds in the sky. And what is a normal cloud to you and I? Well, to me, I hope I'm recording here. Maybe I'm not recording, because I didn't press record, did I? But it might be recording anyway. I think it's recording. We have some people here. Hello, welcome. I'm glad you could find me. Of course, most of you already know that with 188,000 subscribers that we've got 3 people found this live. Interesting, eh? This is the power of AI technology and how they can easily suppress anything. And they do it for a certain amount of time. Of course they do. Anyway, whether this is recorded or not doesn't matter. This is food for thought. If it records, brilliant. If not, no problem. So welcome everybody. I made a video about 4 years ago when I was really, really relentless with the skies. And when I was a kid, I always used to say to people, when I was a kid, I never ever saw these lines in the sky. I mean, you wouldn't not see them. I mean, you know where a cloud is. You saw the clouds, they were always there, or they weren't there, or it was a blue sky, or it was a gray sky, but you never saw those lines anywhere. Were the planes flying? Of course they were. Of course there were planes flying, but not as many as they were then. But you'd still remember the lines. You'd still remember there was Concorde. You even heard the sonic boom. And we used to sit sometimes because we knew that there was a path that this humongous thing in the sky, which was called Concorde. And it's like, lay down and listen. And you used to listen, and it used to go, and it was a blast, and they called that the sonic boom because it entered into the speed of sound. Or was it light? Who knows? Sound. Anyway, so going back to where we are and what's going on right now, and why so many people are struggling with their sleep and emotions and so on. So listen to the theory I have, okay? Have you ever seen on YouTube where they take a certain electrical flat piece of, it's electrically charged, and they pass through it a certain frequency? So it might be 33 hertz or 40 hertz, whatever it is. And if you put sand or some kind of sand, I don't know what it is, but I think it's sand. If you put sand on that flat, kind of charged thing, it starts to create a certain pattern. And some of them patterns are really beautiful. And I'm sure all those patterns have got something to do with our principles of life. You know, look at a flower. You can see that there's patterns in everything. Cut a tree, there's patterns in everything. But this is where I want to make my point. You look up in the sky, right? And you see these sprays being sprayed. Imagine that spray is the sand that you lay down across the sky. And then you've got Mr. Musk's frequency disruptors above you, 10,000 of them all over. And they're sending a frequency down. You've got all of these death towers vibrating at a frequency that Barry Trower says that it's so close to a weaponized system. So you imagine you send that frequency into the ether. Those chemtrails, which people now think are clouds, if you look at them, they've got a frequency that has gone through them and they've got shapes. So they're like cut like that. Could that be the frequency that is being amplified? I can't say harmonized because it isn't. It's amplified to a frequency that to the visible eye, we can see there is some kind of radio microwave 5G frequency running through the whole of this atmosphere. And there's your answer. There is your sign right above your eyes, right up there above your head. Can you see? Are you looking? That's right. You're not looking. You're looking down. Anyway, it's food for thought. I say these things over the years, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes people say, oh, there's some truth in that now. We can see this now. We understand that now. I don't know whether it's true, but it feels like it. And why am I feeling tired and exhausted? This isn't normal. Something's happening. Is it that we're going into Pluto or whatever? Or could it be more? Could it be more sinister than that? You know, could it be the sun is creating whatever it may be, whatever you want to call it? I actually think this isn't natural. And for all the things that people say about the moon, I don't feel that's natural too. I'm sorry, I just don't. Because whenever the moon comes out, I don't feel in a natural state. I don't feel happy. I feel exhausted. That doesn't feel natural to me. And it totally makes sense that when the moon comes out, when the moon is there, that energy, it doesn't align with me. And it has the power to pull the sea back and forth. What's it doing inside our head with the water that's inside us, pulling us back and forth? So that said, I started pondering about what this energy is. And last night, I made a conscious decision in my home to sage the bedroom, which I haven't done for a few weeks, quite a few weeks. I've been busy. And slowly but surely, over these past 2 weeks, my sleep pattern went from amazing, I sleep like a log, no problem at all, to what the hell's going on? Why am I feeling like I'm struggling through the night? Struggling not just to sleep, but struggling in every shape and form. Struggling in my thoughts, struggling in my dreams, weird, strange, just nothing is aligned. Nothing is natural. It's hijacked. So I am going to now share with you what I did last night, and I'm going to do a Q&A on how to sage properly. I would like to introduce myself if you don't know who I am. I used to be a working healer, and to this day, I work with crystals, oils, and incense, and herbs. The greatest herb that I found was this, called sage. This sage is from the Alpujarras, and this is natural, organic. So it's the most purest form. When I was a healer, I was asked to go out to homes where people were struggling in that home because they didn't know what was happening, but they knew it was negative. Negativity can come off us at any given moment, from an argument, from watching the TV, from watching a scary movie, from feeling sad, feeling grief, feeling lonely, feeling angry, feeling negative, feeling jealous, feeling all sorts of heavy, what we call low vibration. We have the power to move mountains, but we also have the power to cause chaos and destruction. Same energy, same frequency in the sense of power, but they're both different ends of the spectrum. So don't ever confuse the fact that you're weak. You're not. And sometimes the most strongest of people are the most angriest and darkest of people. Some people are more strongest of people because they vibrate at a happy love frequency energy. So both equal in the sense of what it does to a property. So if you're vibrating at a low frequency, then you're going to cause chaos in that house or around you and around people. If you vibrate at a high frequency, you're going to clear and heal that frequency, and you're going to clear and heal people. Makes sense. It's very normal. So some days we're radiators, some days we're drains. So moving on, going into those houses, I first went with a sage smudge stick, and they're about this size, about that big. Okay. And they're the leaves all wrapped up really nicely. It's what you would see with Native American Indians would use when they were doing their cleansing work. Okay. So my first mentor said sage is great. My second mentor said sage is great. I studied a lot and listened to a lot of healers all over the world and shamans, and they all said sage is great. So, okay, I'll give it a try. So I went down and bought some white sage sticks. They were about 17 euros from Vitamina. And I bought about 4 or 5 or 6, something like that. So I went into this house and I sat down. My first house I went to, I sat down, I even remember it to this day. And there was some strange stuff in that house, strange things. In so many ways. One thing that I noticed as well, this is a side note, how does water, and this happened even when I wasn't doing this work, my wife's sister with her husband moved into a property that they were staying there for a short while, and they were freaked out where they were staying. One of the things that they said was the bed was wet, but from the bottom up. And that is, for me, that was one thing that I recognized as well happened in many houses. How can you can't pour water onto top of a mattress and for it not to be wet, but wet from underneath all the way up. Nobody's changed or turned the mattress over. That was amazing. Also, the taps would randomly go on and off, taps for water. The clock would stop or be a completely different time in the morning. There were so many things. Breakages was very normal, things dropping off the walls. And most of all for me, I normally saw breaking of mirrors. Mirrors was a big one, cracked mirrors. So this is heavy energy in this house, so I need to clear it out. I sat down and tried to talk to what you would call the spirit or the ghost, or I call it spirit in denial. It didn't work, and I was very new, so I wasn't really 100% sure what I was doing, even though I had instructions from at least 3 mentors who used to do the work. But I, of course, now know it's all to do with understanding, trust, and breaking through the barrier of this fear. And is it nonsense? Isn't it? So I went round with a sage stick. Okay, so I'm going around with a sage stick, cleansing and saying prayers, my thoughts and feelings and speaking. And the lady said, "Have you finished?" And I said, "Yeah, this is as much as I can do." And she said, "Okay, I'll let you know." And the following day, she said, it's even worse. And I'm like, even worse? Yeah. This has happened. That's happened. Okay, she had a violin, and the violin had broken. It had just broke. It was in the same place on the wall, but it had broke. It got a crack in it, and stuff like that, weird stuff. So I went back for the second time. This is my first ever attempt on cleansing. So I went back, and I had a wooden bowl, but the wooden bowl was for rice. I put rice in the wooden bowl. And the reason why I put rice in the wooden bowl is because I used the rice for putting my crystals in there through the day as a healer. But when I was doing cleansing work, I had this idea that I'd put rice all around the house because it absorbs negative energy. And then I'd clear the rice up and throw it away. So when I'd finished putting the rice all the way around the house, obviously the first time it didn't work. I did the same thing the second time, put rice, and I had a bowl like this. I've got the bowl anyway. I'll actually get the original bowl. So this was the original bowl. So there was rice in here. So now I put the rice all the way around the house outside. I'd now got an empty bowl. So I put the bowl at the side next to my mum's photograph, as I did, and a candle. And I sat down and started trying to communicate again. So again, I wasn't getting very far with that because I was new to it and I didn't really know exactly what I was doing because it takes a lot of practice and time. And then I thought, okay, I got the stick out, the sage stick. Here we go again. So I get up and I started this time for some reason, in a corner of the home. And I think it was a flat. It was a flat. It had 2 steps up to the next level, but it was kind of, it wasn't on 2 levels. It was like 1 level, and then there were 2 steps up, and then you got another level. So, but I remember starting, for some reason, I walked around the house with this smudge stick, and then I went into the corner, and all of a sudden, I felt this urge of listen. I'm like, what? What am I listening to? Is it me? Is it spirit? What are you doing? And I hear this voice, what are you doing? And I don't know to this day whether it was my consciousness or what it was, but I'm smudging. Why are you smudging? Well, to get rid of this bad energy or entity, whatever it is. How are you doing that? Well, I'm using this stick. Why are you using this stick? I don't really know because I was told to. No, why are you using the stick? I'm like, because the smoke must cleanse the room. And then there was silence. And then it just dawned upon me. There's hardly any smoke coming off here, only a little bit. Maybe what I should be doing in my head is more smudge sticks. So I get more. I went back, grabbed another 3 more. I had 4 smudge sticks. I'm doing this. Like I'm thinking there's more, but it's still not enough. It's not. And I'm like inside me saying more, more, more. And that's when the process came, when I thought, there's only one way to do this. I broke all the sage smudge sticks and put it into that bowl. And I'm not going to burn it in this bowl because this is what happens if you leave a bowl unattended outside and it's very windy. But then again, this can happen too when you're using it a lot. So I broke it up and it looked like this. And I started to try and burn it. And the lady had a long stick. I didn't have the long stick. I just had a normal lighter. But she had a long stick that she used for, I think it was a fire. And I thought, oh, it's got a long stick on. Why? Because if not, I'd burn myself. So this is vital. Now, I, at this day, use these and I break them up and put them inside here and then light these sticks, which then lights the sage. But then I didn't do that because I wasn't using them sticks then. So I would do this. And it'd take time. It sometimes took 5 minutes and 10 minutes. Sometimes I used to get really frustrated. But the secret is to get it on fire in the sense of not like flames, but so it's really, really, the cinders are really burning really well. So you can see what I'm doing, right? So I'd give it about a minute or so. Now you couldn't do this with a normal lighter because you'd already be burning your fingers. So now it's nearly kind of lighting. I'm going to blow it now and try and make it so that more of the cinders burn. Now it's gone out, you see. But if you keep doing it, it will eventually burn, but you need to keep blowing. So not so long ago, imagine this, not so long ago, one of my beautiful friends on Facebook said, "Do you know what I do, Mark?" I went, "No." I get one of your sticks and I break it up and put it in there like this. And then I set it on fire like this. And because the Palo Santo burns very easily, it then goes down into the sage and creates the fire that you need. So I'm going to show you now, okay? And I'm going to answer all your questions. I'm going to answer your questions. What should you use wood? Shouldn't you use wood? What do you do? How do you do it? I'll answer all those questions. But I just want to show you what I do to begin with. Now, you can't get a smudge stick to do that. You can't even get 4 smudge sticks to do that. Not to give you the amount of smoke you've got there. Keep blowing. Now, see when it does that? The reason why it's done that is because this room needs saging. So this area needs saging. So whenever I get a full lit light, when it goes woof, that means I need more saging in that area. Okay, so now you can see the amount of smoke. Okay, that is how you sage your room, your house. So now you can ask me any question you want about saging, and I will answer your questions to my ability. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. Okay. But that is how I would sage a home. So fire away. Any questions, guys? Just questions will be great, guys. I got a Pyrex glass dish once, and I started saging the house with it. You can imagine the amount of heat coming off that. It cracked the Pyrex dish in half, and I nearly cut myself, and it was the most dangerous thing I did. So I would definitely not use glass. Would I use a shell like the shamans, the Native Americans? No, I wouldn't. Why? Because even the shell gets hot, so you don't even know where to put your hand. It's so hot from underneath when you do it properly. This is the kind of bowl I would be using. This thickness. That's the thickness I'd be using at least. And I would try and get a bowl which is more this shape. The reason why is because when you blow it in there, the wind should be able to go in and out easily. This one, the walls are a little bit too high. So I'd be a little bit more, imagine 3 times the size of that. 3 times the size of that. You see how the bowl goes like that? So when you blow, it goes room like that. So that's a much easier way for the air to flow, and you get a great burning then. Yes, it's necessary 100%. The reason why it's necessary to close all the windows while smudging is because if the window is open, the smoke is literally the best part of the smoke, or corners of the smoke, or places of the smoke is going straight out of the window. So it's not really doing as much as it should do. So for me, the air around you can easily be cleansed, but there's also the computer. There's all your objet d'art, bits and pieces everywhere that negative energy sticks to the walls, it sticks to the windows, it sticks to anything that's energy. So everything is energy. It sticks to the carpets. So the secret, my secret is close all the doors and windows, start from one room, fill that room full of smoke so you can't even see that room. You move to the next room, fill all that room, or the hallway, or the dining room hallway, or stairway. Just keep filling it. Imagine to yourself that there is a ghost in that house. And that ghost in that house does not like sage at all. And that ghost knows that it can move anywhere in that house, but it can't move where the smoke is. So wherever the smoke isn't, the ghost will be. So you're thinking all the time, if I start from one end of the room and go across and keep going till the end of the room, then the ghost can't go through sage. It can't go. It basically disappears soon as sage hits it. So it moves away. It runs away. So start from the bottom, start from the top, and continue as if you're thinking to yourself, wherever this sage is, the spirit can't go left or right, and I'm going across the room till I've finished all the room, and now I'm going to go into the next room. And you keep doing the space where you are all the time, wherever you are, so nothing can go past you to sneak and go somewhere else. That's how I saw it. That's how it worked for me. And I swear on my hand on my heart, I never had to go back to another house after I did that. The only time it happened to me was about 3 years ago. And I was we were doing a pure energy healing online course, and it was in, where was it? Slovenia. And we were staying at a house, and I was with Leila Sati at the time. And this house was, if I dare even say it, but I didn't even want to go into the house. That's how bad it was. So I'm going to sage this house because I have to sleep there. In fact, I actually didn't want to sleep there. I wanted to sleep in a hotel. I didn't want to be there, but I didn't want to upset the people who had invited us to stay there. But I said I'd sage the house. And it was on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floors, massive. So I had about 5 bags of sage, and I started and I finished, and closed all the doors and windows, left it for a full day, put the music on, which was Gregorian chants, and then came back and went to sleep, and it was still as bad. And it was awful. I was angry. I was like something was trying to attack me and change my energy. And I was getting angry, and I knew, oh, this is bad. Something's here. This is bad. And I thought, what have I done wrong? Anyway, Layla said, do you want me to do it? I said, yes, please. I don't want to go back in the house. So when she'd finished, she says, oh, by the way, you missed a secret room. In fact, I missed 2 secret rooms. So the negative entity had gone to another room where there was no sage. Once the sage had gone, the entity was still in the house. So when people ask me, if you cleanse a house, is the energy going to be there again? I say, if you've done the job properly. If you've left a room out, then that entity will stay there till the house is cleansed, and it can be in the house again. So it can. Just on a side note, spirit in the spirit world is not affected by sage at all. Different frequency, different energy. It has no issue with sage at all. But spirit trapped in between 2 worlds, and negative energy does. It has a massive impact. So when you've done the job properly and you are 100% sure that you've gone into cupboards, you've blown it into cupboards, I mean, it's not like you have to go to every little drawer, right? But you can be around the drawer. You don't have to go into the drawer. But if it's a big cupboard and there's a lot of airspace, you're going to open the cupboards and blow it in there. That's what I used to do. I'm sorry, but if you want to do it right, it has to be done right. If there's a loft, you're going to have to go up there. If there's a downstairs, you're going to have to go downstairs. Basement, garage, it's going to have to be done. So yes, it is necessary to close all the doors and windows when you're doing it. And it's got to be absolutely filled with smoke. That's why smudge sticks don't work. And that's why many people are not effective when they go into houses to try to clear these entities. Thank you. I don't really want to talk about frankincense right now. I just want to stick to what I know, really. But frankincense, I don't know if that works the same because I've never used it. I only stick to what I know. But frankincense obviously is good stuff, and it's used in churches, so there's a reason why. But for me, sage is great. Frankincense, well, I don't know. Maybe that'll cost a lot of money to do it properly. No, no, not true. Spirit can come in and out if they want. They can. This is one of the major problems with us understanding this, and not even I know, and I think nobody knows. Why is it that spirit just doesn't wait outside then come back again? Don't know, not sure. But for me, what worked was close all the doors and windows. So can spirit move through the doors and windows? Why didn't the spirit ever come back again? Why didn't they come back? If that's the case, why don't they go outside and then come back in again? It's a relevant question. It's a question that any skeptic would say. And I'd say, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't come back again. So can they go through walls? Yeah, they can go through walls. Of course they can. Can they go through windows? I'm sure they can. But could it be more deeper than that? Could it be that the place that they're at, that is where they are? That's their frequency. So there's a certain point of frequency where they vibrate. So, like if I go into the mountains, I used to be able to pick up on a spirit in a certain location. Another 10, 15 yards away, they were nowhere near there. So they were always in a certain frequency. There was only like this square patch is where the spirit is. When somebody passes into the, well, if they don't pass into the light and they go in between two worlds, because like for instance, on a motorway, there were times that I would go onto the motorway and somebody would say to me, my child got knocked over, or there was a bad accident and my dad died there. I'd walk there, and where that accident was, the spirit trapped in between two worlds was there. It wasn't while I was walking to it, but it was just there, and I could feel spirit there. This is how I kind of see in houses. So spirit is in the house. So if you do this, it's fine, because this is how I see it. And I could be wrong, but this is how I see it. That smoke gets rid of the energy that is necessary for spirit to transition to the spirit world. So imagine you're wearing a cloth, a cloak, and that cloak weighs you down, and you can't do anything about it. The cloth's on you. You can't do anything, and you can't move. You can't go anywhere properly. Everything's difficult. Somebody comes along and pulls that cloth up. Now you're able to be free. That's how I see ghosts or entities. I see them as energies that's been corrupted by fear, worry, and it's just like a dark robe or energy around them. And sage, when you blast that, it's like a jet wash. It jet washes that soul, so the soul is able to transmute and to vibrate into the spirit world. That's what I believe. And like I said, the proof is that I never went back to a house. If I did, I'd say, oh yeah, I went back to loads of houses all the time. I didn't, just once, because there wasn't enough smoke. So for me, leaving all the doors and windows closed means that that smoke, which is vital, is everywhere, and it's pulling all the negative energy. And if there is entity there, it's jet washing that entity of the negative to clear it off. Thus, we let everything go when we open the doors and windows afterwards. So leaving those doors and windows closed for 1 hour, it's like allowing the smoke to do its job. So you might think, oh yeah, it could be instant. Well, for me, I want to make sure I get it right. So what's the harm in leaving it for 1 hour? No harm at all. Open the doors and window, it's done. And you always feel better, and job done. Everything's positive. Nobody says anything negative. Okay, so this works then. So why break something that doesn't work? If you follow these instructions, I promise you, you will feel better, because all my customers did. And they do to this day. Good for you. Thank you. No, you've got to be there. The only way you can do that is being there. If that's what you're talking about, cleansing. Yeah, beautiful. Everybody has their own method. This is just my method. Any questions being asked? Gregorian chants is what I found the most effective in houses. Leaving it on 24 hours is also fantastic. Yeah, I don't know why, but they are credible, eh? Because I don't even know what they're saying. So I'm sure everything else, everything we do with love is from God or source. Everything. If it comes from love. well, then it may not work. You have to do the all everywhere. I don't compare frankincense to sage at all. So this is only to help people understand how sage works. But yeah, frankincense I use in a lot of my other stuff. It's lovely. It's potent. It's beautiful for the room. Great for meditation. It's just a lovely resin. It's lovely. Sage is what we're talking about. That's it. Sage is the important one. Normally, your thoughts and feelings are not of your own. Normally, you do things that would be the opposite of what you do. Um, so, it, when an attachment attaches to you, it feels like somebody else is talking and you think it's your imagination. Many people believe that their imagination is the one that's doing the talking, but it isn't. It's this is my experience and a lot of my clients' experience. So your actions are not your own. I wouldn't do that. That's not something I'd do. Why am I being like this? Why? What's taking over me? Is there something taking over me? And just to finalize on that, sage yourself, completely sage yourself. Sit down and do exactly what I did there and sage yourself. I tell you, it works. Doesn't matter. Just imagine that if you're chasing somebody around a house, you want to do it properly. You want to know which room you're going to. So you're going to do every single room and not miss anywhere. So it doesn't matter. Up, start from above, then make sure you do everywhere and don't miss anywhere. So start from one room, go out of that door, and then sage till you need to go to another room, and then it's all set. Then move to the other room and come out. And if you go across to the other room, so it's just basically there's nowhere where the spirit can go to because you've saged everywhere. So it can only go further back till it goes to the end, and then it'll move down or up. That it was like chasing ghosts. I blow smoke under the bed, over the bed, everywhere. And like I said, when that sage sets on fire, so watch it, don't get too close. That means you need to do it more where you are because there's heavy energy there. So it could be where you sleep, it could be in a certain place. I remember doing a restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, and the kitchens were, it was insane. It was so bad that my sage was setting on fire like crazy. And when I'd finished, they told me that somebody had died there and it was a murder and it was in the kitchen and they found them on the floor. And I went, wow, of all the restaurant, which was massive, I told them that it was the kitchen. I even pointed to where it was and they were like, they were totally okay. Now I believe. So negative energy, this shows negative energy by setting on fire. How often should I sage as I live in a flat and the surrounding neighbors are negative? This is the problem. It's very, very difficult if you have let's say a spirit trapped in between two worlds going around the whole of that place. So for me, if the spirit is in the whole of that building, then you can't do anything. All you can do is protect your own space. And for me, I'd be doing it once every 2 weeks. However, sometimes you'll forget and then you'll feel bad again and think, oh, I should have saged. So like every couple of weeks is a good time. Like now is a good thing to do, especially where we're being attacked by so many other forms of poisons and AI technology and so on. So Yeah. But it depends. I mean, imagine you've saged and then somebody comes to your house the next day and starts screaming and shouting or crying and getting upset. You need to sage again. The sage doesn't stop somebody from screaming and shouting, and when they come into the house, they might bring a lot of negative energy into them. So you have to figure that one out yourself. You know, follow your gut feeling. If you can and you're not sure about whether it's heavy energy or it's not heavy energy, I use lemons. So all I do is get lemons and put them around the house, keep an eye on them. If they go off, then I sage that room. If they all go off, I'll sage all the place. So, and I'll also say, if I don't feel good, I'll also sage. I don't know. I can't give you any. I really can't tell you because there's no such thing as a second best. I only did one thing, so I said I can't tell you something that I don't know. So some people here might be able to help you, but all I know is if you do it this way, then it works. Sorry, I can't help. No, wouldn't really recommend a diffuser that to do this job. Not at all. It's not enough. You saw what I've just done. You saw the smoke that came off there. That's why I never went back to an house, because when you blast the smoke, it's incredible. And after like 1 hour or 2 hours, you come back and you open all the doors and windows. Then Mother Nature, the air will clear and cleanse that away, and it's gone. Even an attic, even the cellar, everywhere. If you want to do the job, you've got to do it properly. And I've explained why. No, I don't think it's anything to do with spirit liking hiding places at all. I don't think it's got anything to do with spirit trapped in between two worlds. Um, Not one little bit. Not in my humble opinion. It's not normally a lot more darker or sadder, really upsetting stories and stuff. And yeah, sage is the one. There's nothing better than sage, in my opinion, and I've tried everything. You can. Absolutely. Well said. It certainly is. It's exactly like that. Yeah. Very good. You haven't done anything wrong. It's not wrong. It's just you're going to another level of understanding. Like you can wash your car, right? And you do a good job and it's lovely, but you take it to a guy who's a master polisher and now he's going to finish the job properly. So now it's like a different level. That's all. And you can do it. Anybody can do it. Anything like this, Fiona, anything like the aroma diffusers are fantastic for keeping the place at a good energy. What I'm talking about here, and all I'm talking about, is how to clear that negative energy, which is so heavy that people are not able to sleep, feeling bad, feeling like I don't know what's the hell's wrong with me. This is really so bad. I don't. So that's what this is about. Yeah, you've got to be careful with other people being in the house. The more people hate the smoke, the more they need it. So there's your dilemma. Sage spray is I'm sure is okay, but I don't think it's not going to do the job. It's a different energy completely. Good vibes here. That's nice. Makes a change, eh? Yeah. Well, I've done cleansing on land, and land is equal to the energy. Imagine we're in the matrix, and everything is like looking like these green lines coming down. It's matrix. So just because it's a house, it's a frequency around the house. It's odd. It's strange how it works, and I've never truly understood it. It's very, very strange. But when two people or one person has died, let's say 200, 300 years ago, and it's been trapped in between two worlds, um, they will be in that energy, and they can vibrate in and out. So sometimes you can see them, or sometimes they can do something and then they disappear out of that frequency. And that's why a lot of ghosts come at a certain time at night and then go again. So it's like a memory. Imagine your memory wakes up at a certain time, or you wake up at a certain time, then you go back to sleep again. It's a bit like that. That's how I see it. So are they all over the house staying watching you? No, it's an energy that vibrates into this frequency and then vibrates into spirit trapped in between two worlds and then goes into this sleep state. It's very, very unusual, very difficult to explain. I don't think anybody's ever explained it properly. I can't, and I've been working with it so long. It's so complex that I decided to become simplistic and say, I don't care what it is. All I know is this is how it works for me. And if it works, then forget everything else. Nothing else matters. Just do the job. Has it worked, madam? Yes. Okay, good. There's a tick on my box. Yeah. Bless you too. Have a blessed day. Yeah, it still baffles me to this day. When people ask me, it's like, I wish I knew. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I do know how to cleanse negative energy. Okay, I'm just trying to answer some of your questions. You're absolutely right. Bang on. Those that don't like sage need it the most. Why do people not like the smell of sage? It's a bit like, I noticed something about ourselves. We don't like to look at ourselves. We don't like to look at our difficulties or our weaknesses. Okay. What sage does is it brings out the worst in you so that you can recognize what the worst is within you to be able to fix. That's why they don't like it. They want to hold on to that worstness because they don't want to see it. They don't want to face it. That's the best way I can describe it. Most welcome. Yeah. Like I said, saging is the best way to have safe space. Yeah. If you've ever got any trouble with your husband or your children or anything like that, make sure you do it when they're not there. Then there's no problem. And if some people are allergic to smoke, send them away. They don't need to be in the house, do they? And then when it's all gone, they're not allergic to anymore because the house is all cleansed and it's all gone. I'm doing this video, by the way, because we've sold absolutely tons of this special offer I did because it's such an amazing, amazing offer. So I'm so glad people appreciate what I've done. I don't have any recommendations. I'm sorry, I don't. I can't. I just can't say because nothing's ever worked. That I've tried other things, so you can try whatever you want, but never worked for me. Everything that I used, I had to do it. I mean, I had fire engines, fire engines coming round when I was doing the work. I didn't care. I was doing the work. Most important thing for me, I don't care about the fire engines. The families can deal with that and talk to them and say sorry. I was doing it in like buildings where there were 100 flats, and I'd cleaned the bottom flat, which was a brand new, let's say in Barcelona, one of the flats I did was a ground floor, high end um, beauty salon that was just being built, and I need to cleanse it. And the building itself was hollow in the middle. And I remember opening all the windows and the smoke going up and people ringing the fire brigade. It's happened loads of times. Fire engines are there. I didn't care. Most important thing was to clear that room, and I did it. Then they dealt with whatever the after effect was. I wasn't bothered. I am from Italy. Ciao, come stai? Bene. I'm not talking about reincarnation now. Sorry, this is all about sage and how to sage in a house. So the questions, please, guys, keep them towards saging. Like I said, I hope I answered that. A wooden bowl is far better than anything that I've ever used, and I've tried so many different ways. The sage, any sage is good sage. It doesn't matter where it's from. My sage is 100% organic. There is no chemicals in there, so they're not going to cause you any issues at all. I think a lot of sage is filled with chemicals, and when you're breathing it in, a lot of people get attacks and asthma and all these things because it's got chemicals sprayed on them. But that's just my thought. I could be completely wrong. No, no. In fact, having the clutter is probably better because if the clutter's everywhere, you can blow the sage everywhere and the clutter is being cleansed and cleared. So it doesn't matter. Cleanliness is close to godliness. So I like my place looking clean and tidy with no clutter, but that's got nothing to do with cleansing negative energy from the house and those what we call spirit in denial or trapped in between two worlds. They say sage is just a frequency of air, and some of the most wicked people sage. Wow. The sage and saging to make you feel better is spending currency. I just don't understand all of these ideas and concepts. I'm just bewildered and baffled at these so many people saying so many different things. And so many people listen to people that don't do the work. It's like, would I listen to a window cleaner telling me how to fix a car? You know, if I want to learn something from somebody, I want to know that they've put thousands of hours into it. That's what I've done. So I just don't get it. I really don't get it. What is more beautiful than Mother Earth giving us sage? We eat it in food. We burn it because it cleanses and clears. There's nothing wicked or dark or negative or it makes it's a pure wonderful thing. If you get somebody who's got an entity in them and you're cleansing them, within 5 to 10 minutes, it's gone and they're back to being okay again. So you've taken the wickedness out of them, the negative energy out of them. Wicked people are wicked people. And like I just said to you, a sage will let them see who they are. And they either decide to face it or they'll get aggressive and angry and not face it and keep the wickedness or that negative and fear in them. It's really that simple to me. But some people like to dress things up, sugarcoat, always putting fear into it, using big words. It's like, I, I, I just don't get it. It's simple. Sage the bloody house, do it properly, and everything's fine. But that's just my way of thinking. Yeah, like I said to you, when you've filled the house with smoke and you've gone, when you come back, you're going to open all the doors and windows. So whether the jinn is still in the house or not, I don't know. I don't know because I open all the doors and windows and then it's gone. Everything's gone. I just see it this way. If I'm cleansing a living room and let's say you've sat there on the settee and you've just had a nasty argument with your mum, I want to be able to sage that seat. The only way I can sage that seat is blowing the smoke to the seat. Or I can fill the room so the room is literally filled with smoke and the sage is eating all the negative energy, pulling it out, sucking the energy out like a vacuum cleaner. And then it's in the sage. Then you open the doors and windows after an hour and then let it out and it's gone. And then you've got a fresh house. Like I said, there's a point of keeping one room cleansed, but this is where the book comes. The spirit, if it's trapped in between two worlds, what I call it, spirit in denial, it will go to another room. So the spirit, the entity, is elsewhere. And once that room has started to fill negative energy again, because negative energy fills up from day to day through what you're seeing and doing. So soon as that frequency changes from high vibration to a low vibration, then that spirit in between two worlds can come then straight into that room again. I think war, spirits trapped in between two worlds. That's why they're always creating wars, because there's more spirit trapped in between two worlds. Any kind of medication, when you die, that causes a massive disruption, and often it's very difficult for the transition to be done in a way because it's almost like a hijack. But that's a deep, deep story. We're talking about cleansing here. Best way to sage yourself is do that. Then get on a chair, take all your clothes off if you can, if nobody's there, or strip down because bare skin. There's two reasons why. Because your bare skin is going to benefit from the sage smoke because it kills bacteria and it goes much deeper than that. So by cleansing all your skin, under your feet, making the smoke go under your feet. So you put the bowl, blow, and then blow down below, and then get the smoke all over your body, back, especially the back, all over your head, all over your head, all over your body. Keep your nose closed, don't breathe, and then stop, and then take some deep breaths, and then do it again. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long it feels that you want to do it. Listen to you. You always know what feels right. That's how I would sage. There's another way. If you really feel bad, if it's like, okay, I'm just feel so dreadful, find a small room, shut the door, and sage yourself in that small room till it's full of smoke, and get a mask. That's the time you should wear a mask. Get a mask and breathe through the mask, not surgical mask, just a cloth mask, and until as long as you can, and then leave the room, open the doors and windows, and just let it out. That's a brilliant way. I did that the other week. It was fantastic. Thank you. You're most welcome. I don't think we're talking about clearing a home. And I've tried to explain, and I'll say it one more time. I'm not going to say this again. Smoke is the most important thing for sage. You can put sage all over the house. You can put sage leaves all over the house. It doesn't clear. the entity out, and it doesn't pull negative energy out of the walls and everything around you. It is the smoke. I'll say it one more time. It's the smoke. So how are you going to do it so you know it's 100%? You're going to smoke that place out like you've never smoked a room or a house out in your life. It's going to be so much smoke that you cannot see. You can't see in front of you. You can't breathe. That is the way. And that's how I got 100% of guarantee that I never went back to a house. Okay. So that's how I work. That's a good one. It depends who's in the house. It depends what's wrong with the house, but I go with my instinct. Some people call it imagination. I call it the key to understanding the connection between our worlds within worlds. So I'll often use a chant of some description of my own. I'll often use words that may seem to you, well, you're not spiritual if you're using Catholic Our Father and Hail Mary, but I sometimes do that, not knowing why. And it's not like I believe in the Our Father and Hail Mary. It's just as a kid, I used to say it. And sometimes I just say it. But I realized, why are you saying that, Mark? What do you mean? What does it mean? Is there a meaning? And I sometimes can feel the meaning within some of those words. And that meaning feels like it's powerful. So it's like holding a cross. The cross isn't powerful, but if you feel the cross is powerful, you become powerful. It's you who becomes powerful. So your words are the power. So a lot of times I'll say, darkness cannot stay where light is. So I'll use that. Or I'll say, thank you. That's another powerful word I use when I heal. Thank you, meaning that I've done the work. It's done. Thank you for coming. Thank you for helping. And depends. It's very personal, that. And it's not something that I would recommend you follow what I'm saying. You should follow what feels right for you and what works for you. You can't do the entire complex, can you? That's the problem. So I can't answer that, and I can't honestly say that what I'm sharing with you will work. The only way it works if you can do the entire place, and sometimes it's impossible. Sometimes it's impossible. I can't guarantee. I don't guarantee and say that that's possible. All I can say is that when I did it, and if I did a certain section of the entire place, I never went back. So my place was, nobody ever said, oh, it's come back again. And I did flats and apartments, but I don't want to say, oh, yeah, if you just do your own house, it won't come back. I can't say that because I don't know. But all I know is, for me, that whenever I did a whole house, there's just something in that you just know it's done. The job's done. And the fact that certain rooms weren't found that I didn't find, then somebody went back and did all of it with that room, and then it was done. It was gone. So that was my conclusion. But for me, if I live in an apartment, I do my own place, I'll just keep doing mine every month or so, something like that. And I'm sure it's fine. It's no problem at all. I'm not saying that spirit's going to go and then come back because it's gone upstairs. I don't know. This is where it becomes complicated. And I'm like struggling because I don't have the answers to everything. All I know is that nobody ever called me back. And look, I'm in a building here, right? There's a next door, there's a downstairs, but I don't have any trouble here because I cleanse this place out every couple of weeks, sometimes once a month, and it's always fine because I'm always keeping up to it, always cleansing and clearing. And just on a side note, there is a difference between, I think I've already said this, but if the spirit world, our family, where we come from, the divine source, smoke has no effect on any of our family who's in the spirit world. It does not affect anything. In fact, it vibrates the room vibrates at a higher frequency, which means it's easier for our spirit world to be in that room where we can feel them. And their energy is stronger after cleansing and clearing. That's why all the psychics probably don't even know why they do it. They just do it. But if you ask a shaman, they do it because they're creating the space. They're creating the energy around their space, which is called their chi, prana, life force. They're cleansing it and clearing it because they're moving into a frequency which is beyond heavy negative energy. If you're in heavy negative energy, you can't do the work properly because it's like that cloth hanging over you. You can't move. It can't be done right. But you sage yourself and you clear that cloth, that heavy energy around you, and you can do the work. Same with the space. Clear the space. You've got a great energy, and our spirit world can move freely in and out. That's why many of my clients used to say, please come and do a cleansing. And I'd say, there's nothing wrong in this house. I don't need to do a cleansing. And do you know what they used to say? They used to say, yeah, but we want you to do a cleansing because when you've gone that night, I have a feeling my dad's here, and sometimes I can feel him here, but it only happens like for the first like 7 or 8 nights after you've done it. And then it kind of goes away again and I don't feel them anymore. So is it that spirit can come in, or is it that your energy is heightened to it? I don't know. It could be both. But I do know one thing. When I'm doing a healing session here and I'm stood there giving a healing session to somebody, sometimes I can feel spirit come into me and I can move away with that love of feeling of that because I need to go and work down at the feet. And I can see that spirit is still in the same energy that I've created, which led me to believe that the spirit world uses our energy to be able to do beautiful things. But then there's also negative entities that use our energy to do bad things. It makes sense. So for me, listen to this last bit. If you cleanse yourself, it's harder for negative energy to come in. If you don't cleanse yourself, it's easier for negative energy entities, whatever you want to call it, to come into your energy. Does that make sense? No, because when you're saging a house, you're saging yourself. Every single blow, that smoke's going all over you. So it's a win-win situation. You'll end up giving yourself a full sage by doing the house. So you don't have to start saging yourself beforehand. No, you'll automatically start giving yourself a jet wash. Good question. Yeah, they've attached to pets before. Absolutely 100%. And you'll find as well that animals tend to go and earth themselves when that happens. So they'll go a little bit crazy in the house, and then they'll get out of the house and they'll earth themselves, go into nature, and then they'll be better. And another thing with animals, they're so clever. This has happened many occasions. Animals that never came into the house, after you've saged the house, come back in, and then they sleep there that night, and they'll stay there for a while because they know the difference between good energy and bad energy. Just like they know the difference between good and bad people, or heavy energy of people or light energy of people. They don't want to be around negative energy. And animals also know when you are of light energy and you've been attacked, or you've been or you feel bad, they will try and heal you. They'll just sit with you and they'll heal you without, it's a natural process. They're incredible animals for healing. That's why they say, dolphins or certain things, animals are amazing healers, all of them in their, without even knowing. Thank you. I use copper inside the stick. Okay, I don't know anything about that, but thanks for letting me know. That's good. Even if spirit were a good one, wouldn't you want to free it? A good spirit is always free. Negative spirit, spirit trapped in between two worlds, a spirit in denial, that's what we try and help back into the light, clear. Good spirits are different because they come from the spirit world and they don't need cleansing or clearing, if that makes any sense. You're most welcome. Absolutely. Yeah. What we're talking about here today is the issue of why we are struggling on a night. That was the whole point of me doing this special offer of 1 year supply of sage and the 3 sets of sticks and the music. People were sending me messages. I get about 200 messages a day, and I try and look at some of their messages and see if there's a pattern. And I notice the same thing. So it makes sense that something's happening on a night to a lot of us, and we're struggling. And I said, look, I did a sage in that room, and now I can sleep better. So this isn't really about me talking about clearing negative energy as spirit trapped in between two worlds. This is about the frequency that's been created by man-made CERN, HARP, DARPA, 5G, 6G, 7G. Elon Musk's they're just using him, but all of those satellites are used for a frequency. So all of that is disturbing a lot of people, depending on where you live, because that frequency is switched on in different places at different times, so that nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's confused. So right now, a lot of people are feeling it. So I said, look, I did a full saging. I went into that room. I blow smoke in that room, so you couldn't even see. I went out of the room, shut the door, 1 hour, came back, opened the doors and windows, and I slept last night like a baby. So that's what this is about. And then I thought, people are saying, can you tell me how to sage? So that's why I've made this. Do you have to wait until your house is clear? Meaning with people, I am super struggling with clutter. No, I think I've just answered that. I just answered that. I think so. Maybe I'm missing these questions. There's so many questions. Sadly, Mark. Yeah, sorry about your personal stories. Okay, well, that's it. I think we're done. I just wanted to put this out there, and I'll now put it out there on YouTube. I want to say thank you. I hope I haven't upset anybody, because sometimes people get angry with this. Um, all I'm sharing with you is what I've done for 12 solid years, and it's simple, and I keep it simple. So get some sage, light the sage, get as much smoke into the room that you want to cleanse that night. Leave it there for an hour. Open all the doors and windows, and you should be fine. If you're struggling with more stuff and bad stuff happening in that house, then try and sage all the house and get out of the house for an hour. Come back again, open all the doors and the windows, and you'll find it makes a massive difference. If you want to get rid of an entity that's in the house that you feel is there and it's negative and it's causing disturbance, then you've got to make sure that smoke goes everywhere and you can't see in any room. Open all the cupboards, blow all the smoke everywhere so it can't go anywhere, and then it vibrates back wherever it comes from or wherever it's gone. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. All I do have is a track record that you would see by now after 20 years of people coming on here saying, well, actually, Mark, you're full of shit because you did this for me and it never worked. You'd see loads of people saying that, loads, right? And if that was the case, I would have stopped that day. I would never have continued to do it. The only reason why I can continue to do it is people were saying, this worked, Mark. Thank you very much. So that's all I share with you. I am not special. I'm just a normal guy doing a normal, in my opinion, a normal job with an extraordinary uh, energy that works in such mysterious ways that nobody knows. hardly anything. Those who keep telling you they know the answer, just be a little bit wary of those people. Nobody knows anything. We don't even know one grain of sand out of the beach of this world within worlds. So we're only touching the surface of it. So I don't claim to know everything. I just claim to know what worked for me through my clients. So I'm wishing you all a lovely day. I'm looking at the clock because I promised to be somewhere at 6 o'clock Spain time, and I have to go now. And I hope this has helped. From my heart to yours, have a great day. And please, this is probably the best, I keep saying this, but I'm doing this deliberately. This is the best offer if you can. So you get 12 of these, and to do one home, you normally need at least half. So you've got half to do one home. So you've got a year's supply. The sticks that I was telling you that I crumble a little bit, but then I'll use it in the mid half of that week. So 2 weeks, full cleanse in the house. Then get one of these sticks and break it in half, okay? Because you get 3 of these boxes as well as part of this special offer. You snap a little bit off. You use it to light like that. And then the rest of the other half, halfway through the week, is you light it and just leave it in the house, or leave it in the room that you have any issues in, or where you're there all the time and you're stressed. Just leave that burning. The Palo Santo is incredible. So you get that. You also get free DHL, which comes all over the world, and that alone is anywhere between 30 and 55 euros to send that all over the world by DHL. You will also get a Tektite, which is fantastic. I like to leave my Tektites down by my belly button. So I will choose a Tektite mounted, which is anywhere between 90 euros and 150 euros, depending on which I feel for you. And that will come to you as well. You also get a free download. And remember that the download is a very, very big download. So maybe it's better if you download it onto your computer. Okay. And that is the music where I was sat in a room, in a recording room. And you know, when you said to me, what do you say when you do the healing session, when you're doing the cleansing? This is what I was repeating. And this is how to cleanse entities, dark entities, negative entities, spirit trapped in between 2 worlds, spirit in denial. I speak to them and try and help them see who they are, where they are, and what's waiting for them when they go home. And it's on loop. So it lasts for, I don't know, 13 hours or 24 hours. I don't know. But that is for sale on my website. That comes also in this special offer. And it's 140. So this is a really, honest to God, it's a really good deal. Okay. It's brilliant, right? And it's till the end of the month. So you've got, I don't know, 5 days or something, 7 days. That's it. I'm going. But yeah, I wish you all a lovely day. And listen, even if you can't afford, go and find some sage and burn it. And that will be fine. Okay. Take care of yourself. Love you all. Bye for now. Bye, guys. Love you. Gotta go. Bye.